Hello team, it's Jay Song here. I'm so glad you're here with me. I got a good video for you today. We're going to go over XRP. Before we continue, everyone, I want to remind you all that this is just for entertainment, comedic, and educational purposes only. This is not financial advice and this is not trading advice. These are all my own opinions, and trading does carry substantial risk. Bear in mind, I do eat red crayons for breakfast. If you do the same, you're most surely going to get a tummy ache, and you're probably crazy if you do, so please read between the lines per my disclosure, okay, for YouTube land. Okay, so where are we at with XRP? Well, why do I start on a daily chart? When I'm trading, I'm always talking about looking where the candles make sense. You have to always look at where the candles make sense. If you're trying to trade something, whatever strategy you use, and your candles don't make sense, it's going to be very hard to make those kinds of trades. I just want you to be aware of something that on what I see on XRP and why I'm not so worried about all of this. People are saying, why aren't you not digging into like the 15-minute, the 5-minute and everything? Well, the reason I'm not scalping is for two main reasons. Number one, first of all, I have I have two communities who are following me. One of the communities are people who are just, they're hearing about XRP, they're trying to get into it, and they're not really surfing all these waves. And the other part of the community are people who are active traders. They're trying to take as many trades as you want. What I have been doing is steering away from a lot of more of that, because the amount of calls that I would need to be making, and I am investigating a lot more cryptos than just XRP. Although I'm heavily invested in XRP compared to my other, my other positions. Like I'll keep like 1, 2, 3% in another crypto. But for the most part, I do have XRP when I'm in XRP. Currently, I'm in XRP, but there is a lot of trades you can see in smaller time frames. If you're wanting to take these kinds of trades, you do have to to be looking out, and you can start seeing patterns unfolding. I don't often spend time too much on the lower time frames. But there are trades there, and you can see them. Some things you can help if you are looking at very close up. You can be turning on a smaller time frame chart, and then turn on Heiken Ashi that can help you draw a little more clear. Those are things you can do. But there are times and there's seasons on when we should be on what price is actually doing. And I'm actually not really doing a lot of this kinds of trades to locate a lot of these smaller trades because of mostly because of what I'm expecting over the next 10 days. I don't need to be trading so much when there's, when we're in special ranges that we're expecting. And when we're in those ranges, I'm going to be very cautious. Now, there's times throughout the year you're going to see me, constantly making trades, and I'm going to do all of that, and I do that often. But there's a lot of times when I'm just simply not actively trading because of what's actually happening. And so I'm going to be so I'm glad you're here. I'm going to be showing you what's actually happening with XRP. If we drew the phantom line for this one, we're connecting the bottom of and I've shown you guys this many times, we're actually connecting the bottom of here and the bottom of there, and then we just make it a little bit longer. Okay, I'm not changing this angle. I'm connecting those angles as accurate as I can. You take that line, you can clone it. You don't move the line like that. You don't do that. You just duplicate it, and then you move it to the higher of the positions in the swing point. Okay, so what's a swing point? Price comes down, price comes up, price comes down, price comes up. This point right here is a swing, that's a swing, and that's a swing. Price came down here, stopped, went up, stopped, came down, stopped, went up. Now in trading, there's waves within waves within waves within waves. So you need to remember that. I don't trade every single wave, but I am trading the biggest ones, provided they happen in balance. So if we take this trend line and we connect it here, it's going to give us a certain spot on price, and it's going to give us this if we place that at the core of this area, it's going to give us this area here. There's a few other things you can do as we examine this area more closely. I took a blue line and I put it at the very top of this core. You could take another one of those lines and you can put it on the tip of there, but you need to make sure it's thin and you make sure it's dotted, okay, or dashed, okay, because these are going to provide resistance areas in the future, or support areas. If price ever breaks above this line, which it did, it pushed through, it didn't even stop. It didn't even stop at this point. It didn't stop and pay its toll. So that means that it's going to pay the toll later. When we broke the top this day, I was telling everybody, and you can see in my past videos, that I was hoping we came back down and sat on the line and closed on that line, or closed here at the 7062 line. So the first day we came and we pierced through it all the way to this red line. Okay, what was that red line? Well, that was the same as this blue. It was just this top. And you guys can draw these if you're following along with me. It was this top right here. Okay, so if I put that right at the core and we extend that out in the future, we can see price was pretty darn close to it. Okay, and it may not be exact, but you want to be as accurate as you possibly can. Price tried to come and came to that line, and then it came right back up. Then the next day, price tried to come to the blue line, but didn't even make it. And then finally, we kind of consolidated, and until we finally came back down into that range. And now today we're doing this. Now, what have I been telling people? I will settle if all we got was that. I would settle. But what I really like when you have a break is you want to see a large swing up. You need to see this arcing action. If you don't see that arcing action, it's like when price moves straight up. It can move straight up, but if it can move straight up, it can also move straight down. Okay, you have to be aware of how price price moves when it's trying to sustain a long bear run. This may be a hard concept to believe, so I'm going to show you guys in real time by moving here. Okay, look at this. Price formed a double bottom on a weekly supports. From my other videos, you saw that these 2 points here were weekly support lines. Okay, let's see. We actually drew them. I still have one remnant here, so I'll bring this bright green. Okay, we knew there was support at this green line, and we knew that when price came to here, it would most likely bounce. However, price went up, and it started arcing down. Now, if price just went right, straight up and came right back down, there's a chance that this bounce will not hold and it can break easy because it's not built on much foundation. However, when price arced ever so nice, look at these curves, very, very balanced for price. This is how I like it. And when price came down there, and it was the same as the support line, okay, we knew that there's some strength in here. And for my other video, guys, I told you, even though I think we're going to go to 52 cents, there was that day we came along, I said, guys, I don't think right now we're going down. We were right here. Okay, we were just below 52 cents. And I said, I just don't think we're going to we need to either swing back up and then we can come back down, but we need to be able to close below. When we didn't close below, I didn't know how long we were going to come here, but if I haven't been watching this curve here, I would have said, oh yeah, well, this is silly, of course. Because we have this long, nice curve here, we're able to keep up for a long time. And the same thing's happening again. Now, this is a daily chart, so each one of these is 1 day of time. This is all June 22nd to July 21st. This is a month's worth of time. So people are like, oh, how come XRP hasn't moved? You got to be patient if you're watching price behavior. And the behavior of price is what I'm following. I'm seeing this. We are now on top of a phantom support. And people who do not know what a phantom is, they don't see this on their charts. And there's a lot of people, they only draw them at general points. But I'm telling you, this line absolutely exists. And we see this all the time. And you can draw it too. Okay? I know other people may call them a different name, but when I was learning this stuff, no one told me whatever these official names for those lines were. So when I was creating my own method of trading, what I call the sword method, to draw price maps on, there was a lot of stuff I was reading in books that was different than what I actually have to do in real life to become successful at identifying what price is actually doing and to be consistent. So I see that price is above these lines, and it's also above the horizontals. I have 3 reasons on why I am not selling XRP at this range. Okay, why am I not taking all these sales? Well, because at any moment, once we're in this range, I'm expecting this. And I draw it in my maps. And I expect, because of that, we're actually going to push right through, because this foundation is so good. When you see this nice curves, that's how I like it. Okay, that's what I want price to do. That's when it's ready for a large move that can be sustained. If we were just doing a basic projection, just a basic one, and I were to take here to here, and I'm going to just make this like a magenta so you guys can see this. And I would have cloned this out, and I would put it on the bottom of this support. That automatically defaults to 0.95 cents. that's where we might be looking for, some movement. However, there's a lot more than just projections. There is a major, oops, there is a major curve. And I know that a lot of people who are so zoomed up close, you're gonna be really thrown off by this, because this curve it lets everyone know what's actually happening. I can't emphasize it enough. Let me explain just a little bit more. If you're looking at the gap in here, if you don't know what's actually happening, you can see there was a huge gap in this area. Okay, everyone can see that. It doesn't matter what type of technical analysis you use. When you see things like that, you can say, oh, price arced up and now it's coming back down. Where is it coming back on? People who don't have the phantom don't even have to have the phantom. They can just see, hey, we're on top of this lines. And we're on top of this. And these lines are not exhausted. What do I mean by exhausted? I mean they haven't forgotten a battle and lost a battle yet. The first time price went through, so then it says, okay, these ones come up to fight. Then we start coming back down. We're barely starting to fight. And there's three people on this team. There's this one, that one, this one, that one, and now the Phantom, which is the hidden battler, he's in there, and they're all coming here near the trend line. Now, what's been keeping price up so far? I will tell you. I'm glad you asked. You guys are so nice. See this white line? Price has been above that trend line. And there was another part that actually was really strong. If you took that and you put that out here, you can actually see on the cores that price was still using this as support as well. And what's more is if you put it here, you also see price was using this as support. So price was using these roofs as support, which means there is a strong foundation. So price was doing this, going up and up and up, and it was sitting on this one, sitting on this one, sitting on this one. Then finally it broke through. When it broke through, it just came back down to the floor of this. It still had this floor. Can you see that in real life action, guys? How these lines react? I mean, look, we came right to this line, which is the floor. This channel was still there. All this that you saw was because price was so strong that it was sitting on top of the line. And then we fought the floor only once, came right back up to that range, and then those roofs actually became real roofs. And of course, we're going down from there. Now, I'm not calling all of these in the chart room. I'm not trading all of those. Over this weekend, I wasn't calling everybody, hey, we're going, because again, all of these prices are good prices. This range is the range I want. That's the price from 76 cents to 69 cents. I know that's a big range, and maybe normally we'd be trading it, but I'm having a lot of people who are coming to me and they're wondering, hey, what's the general move of XRP? And that's it. Okay, you're going to start seeing me take more general trades when price gives me a reason. Another thing is I was telling people in the group is why, what price would I sell at if price breaks through? Well, I said this is what I said. I said price, for me, I don't trade with stop losses based, I don't trade with stop losses. I trade on price behavior. I've been in the markets and lost so much money in my first 11 years of trading based on just getting stopped out. I went from being very accurate at price and still being stopped out because I don't trade anymore based on a certain price target. Because if you understand how the market makers actually work, every time you put a stop loss in your order, it goes in a system. There are level 3 privileges that are only available to institutional traders. You and I are not privy to see that data. According to Richard Wyckoff and Gavin Holmes, who wrote the book Trading in the Shadows of the Smart Money. He is one of the founders of VSA, if not the founder of VSA, Wyckoff. And he teaches these things very in depth. But he basically explains how there are these major orders where you'll see certain stop losses in a computer system that may be all at a certain range. So say the computer tells like, hey, there's like millions of stop losses. There may be here, 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 and here. But the cluster of them are here. So if they know that price is going to go down, all these people are betting it goes down. But if it ever goes too high, they'll get out. They'll get stopped out. So what they do is they'll have a point of consolidation. Then they'll spike price up, take everyone's stop losses out. They'll get them all out of the market and then come back down and do whatever they were expecting. So normally these guys would have been winners, but they end up becoming losers because they have stop losses and that. Now, I'm not telling everybody to not trade with stop losses. Especially if you're levered trading, you can get yourself in some big trouble. Okay, when you're just spot trading, you're in control. You have the shares. You're not just buying on leverage. It can't go to infinity. You always still have the crypto in your hand, so you have a little more power. Actually, I have a lot more power when you're not trading, or when you are trading. You have power. However, and I've heard this from multiple seminars from pro traders over the years, that they do not use stop losses because of those type of reasons, and they just say it's better to be good and understand price than to just trade based on a certain price. So what I mean by that is, why wouldn't I sell XRP? Well, I have to have a reason to sell XRP. If XRP were to do something like this, for example, I have this, and then price were to come and swing back up to this area and then give me signs of weakness at this area, maybe some resistances, then I would say, I think we should be selling XRP because of this type of pattern or this type of behavior of price. But as long as price is acting normal, I don't really care even if it came down to supports, because I still know where all the support lines are. There's cuts here, and there's a few other support areas, and I have them marked on my other charts, and I've shown you guys them in our chart room, or if you're on my Patreon, you'll see my morning updates. I put most morning updates for XRP. This morning I placed flag points all along the line. So if you're wondering where those points are, there are other support points where price can't just go straight down. And if it does, it has to pay some tolls along the way. There's certain exceptions to that, but there's still a lot of support areas. So I'm not just worried about price going down to zero. That's not really how price works unless it's positioned to do that. When price is positioned to go up, it could take some time, but it will go up. If price is positioned to go down, it could take some time and it can look like it's going up, but it's really going down. So you have to understand behavior. I trade based on the behavior of price rather than price. What is the behavior of XRP? I don't want you to be scared by these lines, because these are actually really thin lines. Okay, these are just the roofs. I'm not trading all based on that, but price is behaving very healthy. What it did was, it allowed for that nice arc, and I have been telling everybody for the last few videos that's what I wanted, and now we're getting it. Okay, so when we get that arc and it doesn't look so funny, it's really good. Now if we get a small arc, I'll take it. Look at if it does that, I'll take it. This is better. This one is okay, but it went straight down like that. It's kind of funny shape. What I really want is like a rainbow shape, like that, because that gives it the best indication. That's the one that lets everyone know, hey everybody, there's something that went on there. It broke through a major supports and came up and sat down on it. The same that happened again, guys, on the weekly chart. Everyone in their Nana knew about these lines. They were drawn. There was actually two. There was a weekly and a daily, and you'll see them on my other videos. When price did that, everyone said, wow. And if price bounced off of here, they said, oh, we're going up, and we can stay up longer. When you have a nice bounce, you're able to sustain a longer term trend run. And you may only understand this if you've been in the markets for quite some time, or you've been observing price action for many years now, or if you've been, have other experience in other markets. But there's a lot of people that don't really understand this concept. There's a few concepts you got to understand. Somebody was also saying, why is not this a head and shoulders pattern? So before I get into it, we're really taking a deep dive today in XRP. Why wasn't this off head and shoulders pattern? He was trading on a 1 hour chart. Let's take a look. So the reason it's not a head and shoulders pattern for me is because you can clearly see, ooh, that's terrible. You can clearly see the trend. And it can be a head and shoulders pattern, but I can clearly see the bottoms here, 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 even here. If I connect all of those, I see one major pattern. It's a flag. This is like this. However, there's another pattern in here, and I'm going to show you on the other chart too. But this would tell me, hey, this would be a weakness, but it's not a head and shoulders. So I wouldn't consider a reversal down to here unless price gives me a better reason. And if we do, then again, I need to see it break through all of those supports on the higher time frames. We got a few of them. We got 3 battlers, so I'm not so concerned about this at all. We got 1, 2, and 3. If price breaks through, I want to see it swing back up. If it did here, I would be watching at this point, and then I would say, okay, it's time to sell. I wouldn't be selling even if it came down to here. But if price swings up and tells everybody in their Nana, hey guys, look what I'm doing. I swing up here at a point, I would say, this is cause for concern. And then we can examine that, and then I may be bearish. But I'm not just selling based on price. And if you're trading so much that you cannot take the swings of price, then maybe you're over trading. Especially if you're leveraged. Especially if you're leveraged. If you can't endure a swing, you may be more suited to scalping, and you need to find some teachers who can who are really dedicating times to scalping, or some teams, because there's a lot of teams who scalp, and you can find crypto scalpers all online, and they'll have a system where they take all these little micro trades in there, and that's for some people. That's not for a lot of people who are coming into the XRP community because of what's happening, I believe, over this coming month. And over the next 10 days, I expect some big moves. But because of that, we could be so caught up in this that we miss what, if we zoom out, we miss what's really happening, the real story of what's happening. Okay, so let's go back quickly to the 1 hour chart. So there's that pattern. The other thing is that that's clearly defined. If it was a head and shoulders pattern, I would see one move here, and then we can come down. Then maybe we'd go higher, and then we'd go lower. That could be something like that. This one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that's pretty a solid pattern. That's not, you don't see a 5-headed monster as a head and shoulders. You just kind of see major area, and then a major area, and then another major area. And all of them, as we did in our, I think the video before last, we actually did a major dissect of head and shoulders pattern. I should have put it in the label, but you'll see, you'll be able to see price and then do the cuts. See, if we were drawing some of these bottoms, there's cuts that haven't been touched yet out there. So it's possible if price did that and reacted at that point, that might say, okay, that could be part of a head, but this is, it's just off a little bit. There is weakness. Don't mind there. There is weakness, but it's not head and shoulders. I don't see it as head and shoulders. I also see the full battle. So if I'm going to look real quick, before we get into the really juicy stuff at the end of the video, please stick around to the end, guys. It's some good stuff. So XRP USD Bitstamp. So XRP on these lower time frames, it is the 4 hour. This is the one where I spend most of my time on. I'm going to let you see this. This is the flag that I see. When I saw all of these tops here, how they are all pressing against that same area, I connect the dots. Okay? I connect the dots. And then this, of itself, becomes a phantom. So you take that, you clone it, and then you take it to the bottom swings. And you can put it on the core, or you can put it on the actual bottom of the things. And so what this does is it looks like this. So to me, this is what I see, and I know this chart is very busy, but this is what I see. I see price going up like a pole here, and then we see the flag. See that? When I see those flags, generally it's a continuation pattern of a bullish run. Okay, that's generally what happens with the continuation pattern. The flag depends on the angle of the flag. However, we just broke underneath that flag today. So is price weak or strong? Well, when we broke below, you can see price trying to touch the top of that phantom flag. Okay, there is some resistances now. They are here. Let's downgrade that to about a 2. I'm going to put this as a red. Okay, there's also, and these are on the 4 hour charts. So I can make that white, sorry. So there are some resistances. Now, if price blows right through them, I'm going to say, okay, these may come into play later as a support, or it just may not be as important. But even though we broke through that, the reason I'm still bullish is because I'm not so concerned about the 4 hour chart. Even though I use that for putting these price flags on here, I'm not using that right now. You see me on my daily charts posting the daily because these are the lines that are in play. The yellow here it's blue, but I have it yellow in the other one. But I was drawing. Let me draw this blue so you can kind of see. So on the 4 hour chart, it doesn't really tell the story. And I'm, again, like I said in the beginning video, I'm going where the candles make sense. So let's go back to the Bitstamp. It's a little more clean. So this is why I'm not so concerned about the 4 hour. I know everyone is, but I just want you guys to just watch these things in context so you kind of see what I'm seeing, at least in this. My only concern is these 3 lines. Are these lines going to hold? Well, so far they've been showing positive. Even the first one has been showing spike through, woo, right back up. Spike through, woo, right back up. Spike through, a little bit up. Okay. I wish I had an 8 hour chart. We can go more in depth. Okay. There's a lot to cover, but I'm not gonna keep this video so long. I want to show you now the most important thing. There is a type of chart I've been trying to draw for a while, and I haven't really been able to draw it. But now, using a new way, and I saw some people doing this with a certain chart. Now, normally this is what we have to work with. However, there are people who are able to draw better using a different type of calculation. So on this app I'm using, it's called TradingView. It's an app. It's for charting. I love it a lot, but there are some limitations. And I was playing with the settings to try to duplicate this type of projection, and it's a way to view charts in a different way, but we do have some complications. So here it is. I'm going to take settings on the right hand side, and I'm going to choose on logarithmic. And what it does is it turns the calculation here. And now I can squeeze and view price more balanced, because it actually looks at price proportionately in a different way. Like here is 0.0002, but normally just a 0 to 1 index would mean, we just measure price in only dollars and cents, so it seemed like insignificant. So it makes the lower time frames insignificant, when really, when you just turn on logarithmic, it makes everything in proportional to each other. So a move from 6 cents from 60 cents to $50 would be proportional to its move from 0.0004 cents all the way to 0.20 cents. You would say, oh, that's not a lot, but when you're investing big amounts of money at 0.004 cents and it moves to 20 cents, that's huge. And if you're investing, $1 and it moves to, $20, that's huge. If you're moving $20 to $2, $20 to $25, that's not so big. So everything needs to be in proportion. I've been waiting, and I'm so excited to be able to show you these charts, because people have them, and I'm like, man, I wish I would be so good to be able to draw on those charts. You could see things you've never seen before, and this is such one of those things. If you were to take this line here, okay, I'm having trouble. If anyone knows how to stop this kind of thing, that's the kind of trouble I'm having. So, but you can still get a general view by making these lines parallel. If we were to connect the top of these peaks and we phantom it down to the lowest point, which is here where that spiked, and you can also put it on the core too if you're being a little conservative. But if you were to take this line exactly as it is, and you would clone that line, and I were to bring it here to here, it would give us a really accurate line. And I'll show you what I mean. I'm just trying to keep this same angle, okay? I'm not trying to do anything with it. I'm just trying to keep it, I'm eyeballing it, and there we go. Pretty accurate. It's still too narrow. Right there. Good. See? It should still look parallel. Now, what that did was we had these points way back in January 2018. Before I was even trading XRP or discovered XRP, we would have saw this had we had this ability to turn on your settings and turn on logarithmic. Now, when I had that, we can see what happened. As price neared these bottom areas, price started slowing down. That's when we started seeing cuts happen. That's when we started seeing price acting very peculiar, like doing this. Look, sitting on top of a support here. Look at that. That would have been a great time to draw. Previous resistance becomes new support at a major support area. We knew this support area was here. So we should be looking for, hey, price may come. Now, this is a weekly chart, so every one of these is 1 week. There are people who draw these on a daily chart. It's even accurately more accurate. If you draw it on, they were using 2 days, and one of them person was using another time frame. But just using a week, we would know, hey, price is acting very suspicious right here. And sure enough, we went up, and then we came right back down. Once we came back up and down at that area, now there was what? What's the theme of today's video? The arc. Okay. I'm sorry these lines are squiggly, guys. It's because what happens is this app makes them squiggly. It's not my finger. It's not shaking. It's just the app when you draw too close. So we went straight up and straight down. Now we have an arc. And when we have that arc at a support area, what are we at right now on XRP on the daily chart? Again, I showed you 3 major support areas from daily supports, and we are arcing in those areas. So that's a very good sign, guys. I'm showing you how price should behave and how it normally works. And then what did we see? A large sustained move. Look at this. We were able to stay really high, really long for many weeks. How many weeks was this? This was this was December of 2020, all the way till May of 2021. That's 5 months that we've been up, really. Okay, so everyone's really panicking over the last few days, and I'm telling you guys, when price is behaving correctly, you're gonna see it does take a little bit of time. So it just depends on what type of trader you are, what type of investor you are. Look at this. Okay, so now here again is the that weekly chart I was telling you about. When price came down to those areas on the week, we knew in advance this price was gonna find some support. It went up, arced down, found support, and now where are we at? On our way up. Okay, some people said, oh, that's a double bottom. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. If you have a double bottom at a known support area, you can expect, hey, it's a double bottom. There are some resistance areas. Yes, there is. 79.94, 103.91, and there are something I can't talk about just yet, but I still am expecting higher prices. Now, let's show you the really good stuff that was shared online. So if you've already seen this, you may know, but look at these things, guys. If you look proportionally, what's actually happening? If you were to take these lines, they're pretty accurate. Some people are saying we're going to hit around 150. Now let me take a core line and move it to the core of here. Okay, so that gives us a slightly different angle. Let's turn it to maybe magenta. And I'm going to take that magenta, I'm going to clone it, I'm going to move it, try to make that line exactly the same, okay? Here, I'm going to start off here, and I'm going to try to make it the same angle as this other magenta line. And let's squeeze it to see if it works. Pretty close, pretty close. Good. So where do I expect price to actually stop? If you look at it in context, guys, we are at the bottom of this, and as soon as we touched it, we went right up. And now, as long as we don't touch it again, we already touched it once, we have all of this room to play in. All of this room. There is actually a midway point here too that that price can actually hit. It's almost always right diagonally in the middle. You should know that too about trend channels. This is called the trend channel. Price goes up, comes down, price can go up and down. It can play in these areas, and there's a midline here that price can come to. But when we get there, we'll talk about those points. But really, the price is free to hit, what, $119? 4 cents? Now, it's possible we can fall from grace, and I still think that's going to happen in the crypto winter later this year. I think but before we hit those numbers on XRP, before we hit 25 cents, which I still believe we're going there, right now, I just don't think it's that time. I don't see that in the data. Once we have this big swing up here, the whole game changes. The whole game changes. And I think what's actually happening is that XRP is being decoupled from Bitcoin, and XRP is set up for a very big run. And currently those numbers sit, very high. Okay, I mean, look at some of these numbers: 124, 93. It depends. If price moves up so quickly, it's only 52. If it moved up like today, it could go up to like $75. But I don't think it will. I think it's only going to go in stages, of course. I think it's going to take quite a bit of time to hit those numbers. I think if this were to start this month, we can hit them, maybe, this year. I will tell you that. But I also still think that the crypto winter is going to happen this year. How can price move up so quickly? Well, guys, look at this. From how long? From March 20th, price was at 0.0006, and from the time of May 17th, we were at 32 cents. So we're talking a period of March, April, May, 3 months. We went that high. Okay, so how long do you think we can go in a month? Well, here's 2 weeks, 3 weeks. December 17th to January 18th, 1 month. We hit from 19 cents all the way to $3. 19 cents to $3. You're telling me you guys don't think it can happen in that quick? If you understand and you watch price behavior enough, you're going to understand how quickly price can actually move. And people say, oh, look, we're still here. So we're getting so caught up in these little things, but you got to understand how XRP actually is going to work and how it activates. Somebody's going to flip a switch, but prophetically, we've been receiving from the prophetic community that it is going to happen in some phases and in some stages, and there's going to be stops along the way. Some of the prophetic community has said that price would hit about $12 and then retrace. Well, according to some of my other maps, that's something that's very likely to happen. We can hit a $12, and then we can retrace. How long will we go? I need to examine those numbers once we hit those. There are some people who already have their exits at $12. And then they're going to get out when price comes back down and then finds another support. Well, where will that support be? I don't know. We have to really see those things. I am doing some Fibonacci stuff where I can see those types of higher numbers being hit. Absolutely. So it just depends, but I'm just showing you guys on this full chart here, and I really thank you for taking the time to really look at me, that this is very much a potential. These kind of runs happen. It's not so much based on price, but rather something that's proportional. Look at here, from here to here. Gosh, these prices, I gotta figure out a way to lock these, because these trend lines try to keep being proportional. But if I were to draw another trend line that was exactly that same distance up, that could happen. That could very well happen. Look, 134. If you look at Bitcoin, remember Bitcoin was only $2. Bitcoin was only $2 at one time, and it got all the way to 60 something thousand. So people need to realize that these things can absolutely happen, and the door may be closing. I think we are going to go up and down quite a bit in a roller coaster. I think from the prophetic community we've received that there's going to be something that's going to happen that's going to burn people out of crypto. Some people who are trading are going to get so tired of the ups and downs that they're just going to go out. One moment they're going to be all on board, and then they're going to lose a fortune, and then it's going to go right back up, and it's going to come right back down. They're going to lose a fortune. There's going to affect a lot of cryptos, including Bitcoin. And when those happen, there's going to be people who are going to be real shaken out. And it's been told both in prophetic community and the intel community that there will be a time to reinvest in XRP. I believe that time will be when XRP is still below $1, probably back to 25 cents. But is that happening right now? I don't see it. I don't see it. I see the flag on price. I see that we're at support points on weekly. I see us sitting good on the daily. I see us sitting on top of 3 major support lines with a nice arc, like I've taught you guys in today's lesson. This is why I'm so confident with Bitcoin right now, and why I'm expecting those higher prices. And if you think proportionally, you can see that, absolutely see how it's very possible we can hit those very high numbers. So I'm really glad to share this with you guys. I'm so glad to talk to you guys. It could be really soon. We don't know. We still have to pray about all these things to see if maybe God will speak to you about it. As far as the data goes, this could happen soon. I'm expecting the move to happen within this month. Okay, when you see this arc on a daily chart, it's only a matter of time. Look at the time, July 14th, August 15th. It's very possible we can see a move between that time. It could take a little bit longer, but not before. If it went to September, that's very long. We'd need to see another arc if we were to do that in September. Okay, we would need to see that for it to happen in September. So looking at the current daily chart to see this kind of pattern, if you look at the time, August 13th, 14th, 15th, this is exactly in keeping with some of the numbers I'm expecting on around the the middle of August, before the middle of August, and then there's some intel saying that it could be around 9, 10, 11, 12, something like that. It could be even real soon. So guys, thank you for paying attention, tuning in. I'm sorry this video is just a little bit long. I love you guys. Be blessed. Stay true to the Lord. Remember, He loves you guys. He's the forgiver of sins. He is the one who will never let you down. Guys, He offers the best gift of all. That's eternal life. There's nothing better than that. There's nothing better than getting your sins forgiven and feeling clean, feeling like, the Lord He still loves you. People, feel shunned by the world. You feel shunned by yourself. But the Lord, He still loves you. The Bible says, while we were still yet sinners, Christ loved us and He died for us. And that's exactly who He is. And that's exactly what He's doing. And He's more important than money. Money is just money, guys. It's nothing. The real value is eternal life and what you do with the life you have on the earth. We're all given purposes and missions for our life. And sometimes we just waste them on ourselves, or being selfish, or we waste them on just distractions and not doing or ever finding the real true purposes why God put us on this earth. And I encourage you all to just, if you've been out of relationship with Him, spend some time in prayer. Say, Lord, forgive me of my sins, and invite the Lord back into your heart. Invite Him to make Him the Lord of your life, and He will never let you down, friends. I love you. God bless you. Take care.